Hello, welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Brad.
You know, I'm reading through the docket here, and Jay put together a good chunk of it. And I got to say, like, I was going to say that I'm disappointed. I might even be mad at Jay for this docket that he's put together, because there's a lot of stories on here, a lot of really fucked up stuff that we have to talk about this week. But nowhere on here is the story that we should be talking about in America today. And that is the fact that the Dow is over 50,000 right now.
Well, look, here's the thing, Brad. I would agree. I would apologize to the president, honestly, for the Dow hitting 50,000. We should all apologize if it wasn't currently at 49,451 and 98 cents. I'm sorry. Maybe tomorrow we'll get back to it, and maybe we'll
if it does get back over, if it does close over 50,000 tomorrow, we will record a special addendum to this episode and
breaking
put it out for you guys, so that you understand, because that is what we should be talking about in America right now, and in the world, quite frankly.
Yes,
we're being honest with ourselves.
They said it could not be done, Brad. They said it could not be done. Who is they? No one. No one said that. No one said that. You dumb asshole. No one said that. Like, it was literally on an upward trajectory all of 2025. Like, no one was like, it could never happen. It probably will happen. So here's the thing. There are a lot of this week is being taken up by the Epstein files, if we're being quite honest, right? Like, it's like all Epstein all the time. But before we get into that, because there is stuff that Brad has not heard, that I have heard, that I am going to use to torture Brad with information. So we will get to that. That'll be the second story. But let's start at the start, as they say. Brad, the Super Bowl happened. You being a massive NFL fan, you can't just get enough of it. I know. It's FIFA and the NFL for you.
Right.
And me as a huge sports fan. So the game was fine, whatever. It was kind of boring, actually. But more importantly, the real fight was at halftime. That's when shit got really started. Did you watch the Bad Bunny halftime show, or did you watch the White Power Hour halftime show over at Turning Point USA?
So I did not watch any of the Super Bowl or any of the halftime shows. I either of them. I mean, I couldn't even tell you where you could have found the TPUSA halftime show. They were going to stream it on Twitter, and then they couldn't because there was like a licensing problem. So like, I think they had it on, like, I think it was on Rumble. Yes, which, for those of you that don't know what Rumble is, it's basically like if YouTube was Truth Social, that's effectively what Rumble is as a video platform.
You go to Rumble when your YouTube channel gets canceled, or you get canceled, and they're just like, we're going to cut your ability to monetize. They're like, well, I got to go to Rumble. That's the Nazi one. That's Nazi YouTube. I'll go to there.
Yeah, there's a couple of these Nazi platforms out there. You got your Truth Social for your posting, you got your Rumble for your video content, and you got your Kick. If you're a streamer and you wanna stream, and Twitch is like, no, like, you don't meet the standard, our low standards of our platform because you're too racist or anti-Semitic, and you're like, cool, well, I'll go to Kick. Kick is where the anti-Semites and the gamblers live. So
okay, well, there you go. So Turning Point USA over at Rumble, of course. Right. I did not partake in the Kid Rockification of.
That's a shame. I figured you would, as a young Gen Xer, like a late Gen Xer, I figured you would have been down to ball with the ball, because that's something that you remember from back in the day. So.
I did remember that classic. I didn't want to ruin my memory of such a fine time back when Kid Rock first hit the scene. Yeah, so I watched the Bad Bunny one because if I'm going to watch the game, I'd rather watch higher quality entertainment than whatever dipshit convention they had on the internet. And me and like 134 other million people just watched the one where the game was. Look, I didn't understand 95% of what the fuck he was talking about. My Spanish is not that great, and he talks way too fast. And also, he's Puerto Rican, so the dialect is a little bit different than I'm used to, than Mexican Spanish. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. You can find it online on YouTube.
Yeah, I heard it was a heck of a show. Unfortunately, though, all the conservatives didn't have any opinions on it because they were all watching the Turning Point USA show.
It's funny how that happened because Donald Trump had an opinion, and then there was footage of like whatever Super Bowl thing they had, I guess at the White House or whatever, and like all the TVs are showing the Bad Bunny halftime show. It's like, they didn't tune in to the Turning Point one? I'm shocked to find out. Yeah, of course. Like it's like hate watching a movie. You want to be in the you want to be a part of the zeitgeist, right? You got to be there.
You got to be in the conversation. You can't talk in the water cooler if you don't don't hate watch the thing you swore you weren't going to watch.
Yes. It was
how can I hate it if I don't know it's if I don't think it's there.
Well, in fairness, they would hate it even if they didn't watch it.
True, like I said, with stuff like this, you can always just go back to the wisdom that we gained from the seminal 1997 film Private Parts, the story of Howard Stern, when the ratings guy is talking to Pig Vomit and they're going over the different like ratings for the Stern show, and it turns out the average Howard Stern hater listens to the show for like 70% longer than the average Howard Stern lover does, and for the same reasons, because they want to hear what he's going to say next.
What is he going to say next? Shout out to Howard Stern now becoming like the bastion of like pushing back, which is like.
By the way, did you know Paul Giamatti was like 29 when that movie was made?
Jesus Christ! Well, I mean, look, you guys don't age very well. A lot of you.
That's true.
I hate to say that. I mean, the fact that everyone on the show Cheers was like in their 20s and 30s when that show came on air is insane. Like Kelsey Grammer looked 45 years old. I'm 45, and I look younger than Kelsey Grammer did back then.
I mean, in fairness, it's because Kelsey Grammer was still very bald even when Cheers was on. So
I mean, also John Ratzenberg. Those guys look like they've been working at wherever for fucking 45 years at the time. It's insane. But yeah, so I think roughly the estimate is about 6 million people watched the Turning Point USA thing. I don't believe those numbers. Like immediately, I don't believe that. Cut it in half at best. But like Bad Bunny's whole message was like only love is more powerful than hate, or can defeat hate, or something like that.
Well, maybe you think that, but because we couldn't understand what he was saying, actually, Jay, like he might have just been sneaking in like a jihadist message that was secretly going out to all Americans.
Look, what? Frankly, I hope he was. He was like, yes, only hate white people, and then he held up a football and spiked, and he was like, "This is a white person," and then he threw it.
It's a shame there's no way to translate Spanish into English so that we can understand the things that he was saying. So,
well, according to Megyn Kelly, who decided to do like a Latino accent at one point, mocking Latino women, I was like, "What you trying to get your hair ripped out at the root? You better relax."
Yeah, shit. Well, is she going to get canceled by the right? No, get out of here.
But she was like, only 40 million Americans speak Spanish, and the rest of the country doesn't speak Spanish. I'm like, that's 40 million people. Like that's a lot of
10%. It's literally
that's
10%
a lot of people. Like that's a lot of people. Like, I don't know why you're trying to downgrade it like it's not that many. That's a lot of fucking people. Also,
frankly, if you don't speak Spanish, and I don't, by the way, shame on you. And I tried. Like I took 3 years of Spanish in high school. It just didn't stick.
I mean, here's the thing. Whether you know the language or not, this is America, and people speak different languages. I mean, are we trying to act like there aren't a bunch of people who speak Italian or that take pride in Italian culture and things like that? Of course. Like, what's the problem?
Hang on, Jay. Like I feel like you're straying off course here. It's fine to take pride in Italian culture as long as this is consistent. That's the thing.
Here's the thing, though, Brad. I'm gonna disagree with your police work here because during the Bad Bunny presentation or halftime show, he brought out Lady Gaga. She sung. Lady Gaga, very Italian, very white, and people and right wingers were like, there were no white people at this halftime show. It's like, again, in the national divorce, we won Lady Gaga. That's awesome. Congratulations. I like Lady Gaga.
Apparently she's a-racial, Lady Gaga.
Yeah. I think she's just Latin. I think she just became Latin. Like, this is how it works.
I also enjoyed some of the comments that Bad Bunny's ceremony was pushing a gay agenda or something like that. Meanwhile, there was a literal heterosexual wedding that happened during the fucking show, is my understanding.
There was a bunch of women shaking their asses. What are you mad about? It was amazing.
All I can think of when I hear conservatives like complaining about the show is the one scene from Simpsons when like the strippers were like surrounding Mr. Smithers in the corner.
Oh no, it's too much. It's too much. Like, dude, like, because at one point in the show, there's like two guys like kind of dancing up on each other, but they're in a sea of all women dancing provocatively. I'm not mad. I was like, oh, those guys are dancing with each other. Anyway, back to the thing I'm enjoying. Like, just focus in, man. What the fuck? So yeah, it was a good show. Had a couple of little like Easter eggs. That wedding happened. That was a real wedding, by the way, which is kind of a dope story. Apparently that couple wrote to Bad Bunny. They're like, hey, can you come to our wedding? He was like, no, you can do your wedding at the Super Bowl with me. And they were like, wait, what? He's like, that was awesome. I think that's pretty cool. But it was a great celebration of, Puerto Rican culture, sort of Latin culture infused with America. I thought it was dope. It was really, it is what America is. America's superpower is we got a little bit of everybody. Like, that's the whole point. And of course, the right doesn't understand that because they fundamentally do not understand the point of America. They just understand the idea of they want an ethno state. And I don't want these people in my country. Bro, everything about your country that you enjoy culture-wise is by people of color. Music, food, art, like all of it, dude. Like all
that's one of the that's always one of the most humorous things to me is like, especially these dumb idiots in the fucking South that say this shit. I'm like, do you think that delicious food that you enjoy every day just appeared from Whitey? Like,
right. You think they brought that shit over from Britain? Get out of here, man. Yeah. Look, I've been to Britain. It's a lovely place. Food is as fucking bland as can be, and it like the food that has the real flavor and like, oh wow, look at these beautiful colors. Yeah, it's all Indian food. Okay, like it's not shit that you guys invented. So just relax. So the fallout is just. It just goes to show you that Republicans are pussies. Like, ultimately, they're total pussies. They needed their little safe space. They had to have their little all-American show. I've seen a couple clips of it. The guy was like, I just want to, drink my beers, kiss my fish, or whatever the fuck. And, like, it was lame. It felt lame. It looked boring. Kid Rock at least had some energy. Though I guess
too bad he was Milli Vanilli-ing it out there, apparently.
Of course. Live to tape, baby. I guess if you take a meth skeleton and then just like electrocute it, it can also move around. So that's cool. Good for him. But I thought it was just generally pathetic. Like, guys, I watched the Super Bowl for years where it was like, this year it's The Who. And people are like, all right, those guys are like 1,000 years old and they're playing the Super Bowl. And we listened to it and we're like, all right, that's cool. Oh, here's fucking Aerosmith or whatever. And no one had a problem with it. They were just like, they either were into it or they're not into it. But we didn't need to have like a safe space about it and be like, all right, well, we're going to have a black show. And then like, we're all going to turn off. And we never did that. Like, we never did that. By the way, the halftime show brought to you by black people, by the way. Another thing that we helped make a thing that you actually were interested in. I found this out recently. Like, before, like, generally the halftime show for the Super Bowl were like marching bands and like these kind of like nonprofits, like, yeah, like do. And it was kind of boring. That's when people like went and got like refills of beer and shit like that and food. It wasn't until in the 90s that, because people didn't watch this, the show In Living Color by the Wayans on Fox decided that they were going to do an episode. And because that show was incredibly popular at the time, when they aired that episode, 20 million people turned off the Super Bowl and watched their show for that time. Like, they did a special or whatever. And then the very next year, the NFL was like, we present Michael Jackson for the Super Bowl halftime show, right? So like that's when that started. So again, you're welcome. But which I found to be just kind of a funny little fact. So things
just for the record, the Puppy Bowl had literally double the viewership of the Turning Point USA halftime show. No shade to the Puppy Bowl. Puppy Bowl's been doing their thing for quite some time. But that just kind of goes to underscore the point to which the average American that conservatives claim that they are the representative of didn't give a shit about the thing.
Look, we had a long conversation about this on Black on Black Cinema. The fact of the matter is, the arbiters of culture are not conservative white people in America. They're not. They just simply aren't.
Spoiler alert. They never have been.
They never have been. No, I know. That's exactly what we're talking about. Like, they're not. Like, this idea of, like, people come to America, like, they don't come to, when conservatives talk about, like, the reason immigrants come, they're like, because, opportunities for loans and starting a business. I'm like, that's not the reason they come. One, either they're escaping, like, persecution, right, which is very real, but they come to the U.S. because of the culture of the United States, right? Like, like that fun, love, and rock and roll and fucking all that shit. That's what they come for. Like, because they want to be a part of that culture, that they know they can bring in their thing and it becomes a part of that culture and it makes America a little bit more interesting and stuff like that. That's why they come. They don't come for fucking great loans for their small business or whatever bullshit conservatives think they come for. That's not the reason. Like, come on. Don't be so stupid. So if you want to hear a longer conversation on that, listen to a Black on Black Cinema episode on that. All right, but let's get into the crazy, because the other story of this week, which in some ways might even be bigger, is the Epstein files. So the reason it really kind of blew up this week is because members of Congress were allowed to see, on a specific committee, were allowed to see some of the unredacted files. They have released 3 million files so far, and people on the committee are still saying, I guess it's a judiciary committee, are still saying that there's another 3 million files that they're keeping under wraps that they have not released. So we'll see whatever happens with that. But people like Jamie Raskin and other folks got a chance to sit down at one of 4 computers, and they weren't allowed to bring their phones in, but they were allowed to take notes, and they were allowed to talk about what they saw. So they came in and they got a number of hours with these unredacted files. Will they have a chance to go back and see more of it? I don't know. I think so. So a couple of things. I'll go. This article had a like 4 bombshells that came out of this. So prominent individuals were still being protected by redactions. So even though they were showing them the redacted versions of these files, some of that stuff was like double redacted, which is curious. Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna definitely pointed that out. Another
against the law, by the way. Again, like literally the way the law was written is that like you can't redact people's name. Like you can redact the names of victims for privacy concerns, but you can't redact the names of people that you don't want to see out there for embarrassment purposes or stuff like that. Like literally that was part of the law that was written for this.
Yes, so. And that the president signed himself, by the way. There's a sultan who sent an email about a torture video. His name is Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, a businessman from...
There you go. Good job.
Not bad. Trust me, I'll fuck something up later. He's from the UAE, and he's been a longtime Epstein associate. So apparently Epstein wrote to him saying like, "Hey, missed you last night," or something like that. Really enjoyed the torture video. That's not much in the way of code words. That's pretty fucking bad. So my guess is that dude is never coming stateside again. And hopefully someone in the UAE snatches his ass up. Representative Jamie Raskin, the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, has said that he was only able to view maybe 30 or 40 pages, but he did say that there were, you read through the files, quote, you read through the files and you read about 15-year-old girls, 14-year-old girls, 10-year-old girls. I saw a mention of a 9-year-old girl today. I mean, this is just preposterous and scandalous. So a victim as young as 9, which is pretty fucking disgusting. Frankly, I think we should dig up Jeffrey Epstein's body and burn it. And then take everybody associated with this guy and throw them off a fucking cliff, as far as I'm concerned, because this is beyond the pale. By the way, shout out to Megyn Kelly. Remember when it was like, he's only into the barely legal type. Is that really that bad? Fucking conversation. Yeah, it's really that bad. It's really this bad. 9 years old. Where is she? Right? She's too busy talking about Bad Bunny. Where is she on this shit? You fucking hack. And so after that, files also allegedly contradict Trump's account of his Epstein relationship. Basically, this idea that
not just his, by the way.
Yeah, many, and Ghislaine Maxwell as well. But the idea that they were mostly focusing on was that when Trump was like, "Oh, I kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago," it's not true at all. Like, no, they did not have this like major split or whatever. That's bullshit. But we know that's not true from the previous Epstein files that they released, the first tranche of files, because Epstein and Trump had Thanksgiving dinner together in 2017, according to emails. So clearly they were not.
And not just that, Howard Lutnick, Donald Trump's Secretary of Commerce, who went out of his fucking way in the past to be like, oh yeah, like we were neighbors, but like after 2005, like, you know, once I found out like what his deal was, like I thought he was disgusting and I wanted nothing to do with him. I didn't talk to him. I didn't associate with him in any way. Turns out in like 2012, I think, there's an email talking about how like, yeah, like me and my whole family went to your fucking island to dine with you, that he was asked about in a congressional hearing earlier this week, made the point to say that like, yeah, like I went there with my wife and my nanny and my kids, and then we all left, including my children. I'm like, weird that you had to fucking point out that extra piece, but I guess given the circumstances, that's a good thing that your kids came back with you.
I mean, the thing about Lutnick is, like, one, you lied, right? Like that's the obvious thing of like, get the fuck out of here. Why'd you feel the need to lie? 2, it's doubly bad because like you flew into that area and took a boat to that guy's island, all right? Or like they dined on a boat, I think he said, which means you made effort. Like it's not like you tripped in, like you were walking down the street in New York and you ran into Jeffrey Epstein, like, oh shit, we're going to Zabar's. What's going on, brother? Like that's not the same thing. You made a conscious effort to go where that guy was, to sit your family across from him and have lunch.
Including your 4 kids.
Including your 4
kids. You were like, hey, go dine with a convicted fucking child rapist.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I guess it would be one thing if you and your wife went, if that's like something you're into or some shit. Ugh. But to put your children in that position is insane. And again, this is 2012. There is no argument about what he has been accused of at that point. Like, this is like we flat out already know this. So yeah. That
also, Dr. Oz.
Yeah, I was just
going. Let's
he's even worse. He's even worse. Him and his fucking wife invited Jeffrey Epstein to their Valentine's Day party or whatever in 2016. 2016. There is no argument about who this guy is at that point in their circles. Well, hey, we're having crudité. Would you like to come on over? Like, what the fuck? Dude. Now, the best argument he could possibly make is like, hey, we sent this out to a bunch of people. He was mistakenly on the list. But it's an email. So best of luck, you know, trying to skirt that one. By the way, both of those guys should resign. They should resign. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm not saying that those guys did anything because we do not know, right? I'm not one of these people who's like, if you were there, you did it. Like, I don't know. What I am saying is you were in contact with this person and you felt the need to lie about it, which tells me you already knew it was fucked up, which means you should resign. Right? Lutnick, 100%, because you literally went on television and was like, absolutely not. This guy's gross. He's gross. He's gross. Hey, man, do you want to get lunch? Like maybe we get like a little ceviche or whatever. Like, let's hang out. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, come on. That's insane to me. So both of those guys, I mean, they're both incompetent boobs. So I don't think we're losing anything, that brain power or anything being in the administration. But they both should lose their jobs or step down, 100%. But let's talk about some other things that have popped up in the Epstein files, Brad, that you're not aware of. Because you're trying to keep your sanity like some sort of like you
I know, what a
better
fucking
than
idiot.
us. Yeah.
Rube. Dumbass.
Yeah, fuck you, man. So here's an interesting story. Jeffrey Epstein made regular payments to Ohio State head of gynecology, records show.
I don't know. I don't like where this is going.
No, you won't. Convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein paid Ohio State University head of gynecology quarterly payments of thousands of dollars, Department of Justice files show. Mark Landon, a physician and professor at Ohio State University, the chair of obstetrics and gynecology department, received as much as $25,000 every few months from Epstein in the early 2000s, according to release files. Landon told the WCMH, I guess it's like a radio channel, that the payment were for consulting work and that he had no knowledge of Epstein's crimes. Along with the quarterly payments, Landon also received at least 10 packages from Epstein or his associates between June 28, 2001 and April 12, 2005, the files show. In all, Epstein spent more than $200 mailing items to Landon's Columbus home though the files do not detail what was mailed. Yeah. So couple that with new information that's come out of images in the Epstein files of a bunch of young girls whose faces have been redacted saying that they're pregnant. So this guy was getting paid $25,000 quarterly, more or less, for what? Consulting? Consulting what? On what? What was the data? What was the information that you were giving? Or could it be that because you work in, because you're an OBGYN, that maybe your specialty is pregnancy? Just a thought. Pretty gross, pretty weird. There's also a bunch of the biggest company in California that stores like people's sperm and eggs. Jeffrey Epstein, big time client. Huge client. So just dropping off tons of material over the years. So like,
what the fuck is with these rich assholes and feeling the need to just spread their fucking seed all over the fucking place? Yeah. Apparently he was like in the emails. Apparently he is like very interested in like genetic modifying children to make like perfect children and all this other shit. So yeah, of course he was. That's why Elon Musk wanted to fucking bro down with him as much as he did, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. So that was pretty bad. Here's another revelation. You'll appreciate this one, Brad. So I sent this to Micah and I said, you've never had a better argument against AI than the story I'm going to tell you. I swear to God, you're never going to have one.
I can think of some pretty good ones.
I bet you can't beat this one. So when the large language models were first kind of coming online, where they got a lot of their data was from Reddit, right? Like they would do these big scrapes of Reddit and they would organize like through like what is the most popular vis-a-vis most important data, right? And they would garner that like what is the most important by like Redditors karma score, right? So like when people upvote your comments and things like that, if you've never used Reddit, you get more karma, right? And what we come to find out is like they have all of this data and it's called a pile, right? They take all this like random data from Reddit and all over, but Reddit was a big one because it's a huge community. They take all this data because it's a bunch of personal data, basically. They take all this data and they throw it onto the pile. I'm sure, tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of gigabytes of data. Well, the very first Reddit user to reach 10 million karma points was Ghislaine Maxwell. And she was a moderator on the World News subreddit, come to find out. And she also made a bunch of comments and pushed up a bunch of things about, what was the term? Like overly aggressive, like age-related laws, like consent laws and shit like that.
Was that post in r/libertarian?
Yeah, they were like this. A lot of good points. Like I don't know, this person's really smart. So because her ranking was so high on Reddit, she has an outsized influence of data in the pile, which was quite literally used as a base for large language models.
Cool.
Super great. And all I can think is that cannot be coincidence. Like isn't too insane to think that this is all coincidence, that these people had this much outsized influence on all of these things. Like it's just nuts. So we'll see. I know that was pretty fucking bad. When I saw that today, I was like, I feel a little sick to my stomach. Thank you. But the gynecology
not
thing
me, because I don't use the fucking things. So
yeah, but you're out there, man. You're on the internet. It's affecting all of us.
It's true.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. It's infecting all of us. That's probably a better word. Yeah, and there's a ton of shit like that. Like they are just tied up with a lot of shit. You got to remember that. I think we talked about this briefly last week. That Jeffrey Epstein met with the head of 4chan right before /poll, which is their politics subgroup, was created. Like these guys may have been involved in this shit for a very long time, a very, very long time. So I don't want to get too conspiratorial about it, but there are very easy lines that you could draw that get even worse. But we'll see as people are digging through and, I read more about this stuff. But the AI thing, I was just like, that is not good. That's really bad.
Yeah, that is the thing with as many documents as there are and that have been released and people are coming through. Like we're going to just keep finding out stuff about these things. Yeah. Like it's going to be ongoing. So all the more reason that maybe the DOJ should be, investigating these things instead of, unfurling the mission accomplished banner behind them vis-a-vis the Epstein files. So lost in all this, and one of the reasons that this came to a head to some point this week, Pam Bondi, the current Attorney General of the United States, had herself a day in front of the House Judiciary Committee yesterday as we're recording this. Now, what's funny is that this is simultaneously a performance that will likely get her lauded by Donald Trump, because that's who the performance was for at the end of the day. And yet one of the all-time greatest going down in flames dumpster fires that I think we've ever seen.
1,000%
in a congressional hearing ever.
I talked to Mike and Terrence about this. Does she think that like I understand that Trump is likely never going to, suffer any consequences, right? He's old, like it's going to be really hard to get him. Fingers crossed, Father Time will, but it's going to be hard to get him. Where do you think you're going to land in all of this? Like the way that you're operating, you're setting yourself up, if you're lucky to get pardoned. If you don't, you're setting yourself up for absolute criminal liability what you're doing. Like, wouldn't it be easier to just go, you know what? They signed the law. I'm just going to release that shit. And then you just know you're going to get fired. You're like, I'm out. Like, who's going to do something to you, bro? Those people are all going to go to jail at that point, right? Like, if that stuff came out, they're all going to go to prison. Instead, you're like Apu in that scene from The Simpsons. You're like, no. You're like diving in front. No, take me instead. When he goes, you're fucked. Like, you're acting like,
well,
are you in the files? Because it's a good question at this point.
Well, that's a fair question at this point, too. Here's the other thing. Like, I can understand if you like diving in front of this shit to take the slings and arrows. If there's like a destination you're trying to get to, right? Like I understand, like, if someone who's trying to climb into the Trump administration or has future ideations on like a higher office or something like that is playing the role of the good soldier. But Pam Bondi, like, you're the attorney general. You're at the peak of where you're going to go. The only step up above where you are right now is becoming vice president or president. Don't think that's happening fucking ever.
No,
in any way, shape, or form. Maybe you want to like run for governor of Florida or something one day. I don't know. Like, maybe that's where your fucking head's at in this situation. Who could say?
Even that feels a distant memory as of yesterday.
Right, but like to what end are you are you doing this? Except really to just cover flack for your fucking balls, because like, she doesn't strike me as a true believer. Right, like she's someone who seems like she's definitely putting on the performance, and is her principles are very malleable. So logically, and why I'm trying to apply logic to this situation. That my bad. Like, that's my fault. Honestly.
I'm the idiot.
Right. I'm the idiot here. But what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Because Jay is right. Like if you are. Like, Republicans ain't gonna have forget when Trump is not president anymore, whenever that happens, and a Democrat's in there. Republicans aren't going to have the House or both houses of Congress within the next 10 months.
I mean, there might be a chance they might lose the House pretty soon, by the way.
Yeah, they keep dropping like flies.
No, there's a dude who announced, I want to say his last name is like Dunn or some shit like that. He just announced that he's likely stepping down before his term is over, which would drop it to like 217, which would give it basically like it's damn near an even split. They have no space for any defections. I don't understand this logic. You're running into a brick wall at full speed and hoping we don't notice it. We see what you're doing. Other Democrats have made a point of saying this, and I think somebody should have said it at the hearing yesterday. Maybe I missed it. Maybe someone did. But you're performing for an audience of one. You're not even talking to the people in the Judiciary Committee. You're performing for Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't even know his name half the time. Okay, like, you're fucked, and you're sacrificing yourself at the altar of a person who could not give any fucks about you or your career at all. And he just doesn't give a shit. If he's going to protect you, it will only be to protect himself ultimately.
And again, the things that she's doing that she did in this hearing are just like kind of insane. Like she was belligerently attacking
the Dow, Brad.
The Democratic.
The Dow.
Well, that's one thing. I mean, so she was attacking all the Democrat, like not answering any questions from Democratic lawmakers, but attacking them instead of trying to be like, well, you didn't ask Merrick Garland this question, or why are you trying to defend, violent insurgents or like that, talking about like peaceful protesters or whatever, like, with stuff going on about ICE and stuff like that. Called a Jewish lawmaker whose grandfather died in the Holocaust, accused her of being an anti-Semite, which is not a great fucking look. I gotta say, ran down former impeachment managers for partaking in the Trump impeachment scandal and demanding they apologize to Donald Trump for impeaching him, which last I checked is still allowed under the Constitution.
For now.
Yeah, for now. But yeah, like the coup de grace, and again, like if this doesn't understate like the conservative mindset in this country right now, like this isn't even a metaphor. This is just them saying what it is. That what you said was, she literally said, why are we here talking about this Epstein stuff when we should be talking about the fact that the Dow is over 50,000 points? To which, like if I was a Democratic lawmaker in that session, I'd been like, bitch, are you the Commerce Secretary? Did I miss something? Did you change jobs? Well, the reason we're not talking about the fucking Dow in this Judiciary Committee hearing is because you're the fucking Attorney General. So we're asking you about DOJ stuff, dummy. Yeah, like that's fucking why.
Well, it was hilarious because I forget who the Democrat was. She was like, "Listen, you need to answer. These are serious questions. You're a secretary, you're a secretary, yeah. Right? Or Madam Secretary or something." And she was like, "I'm not a secretary. I'm the Attorney General." She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't tell." I was like, "Oh, damn." Like, that was very quick-witted too. It was like, yikes. No, but Bondi's behavior was job ending, right? Like it is a performance that was so fucking bad that any other normal Attorney General would be like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna head out. Like, you know what? I fucked up."
Right.
But that of course is not the case for them, because they can screw up to their blue in the face. I did just find her inability to answer basic questions. You gave up the ghost. Like, you gave up the ghost. Because when they simply asked you, is Donald Trump in the, like, was he at any of these parties and were there underage girls there? Your simple answer could have been, no, there were no underage girls there. But instead, you go, you flip open your burn book and you're like, well, you seem to like to do stock trading. It's like, okay, the Dow's up 50,000. Okay, again, I must ask, did the Dow rape children? Because why are we talking about that? We're talking about this.
Oh, you didn't ask Merrick Garland this. Like, okay, cool. You're the Attorney General now. Like we're asking you because you can do something about it.
Right. And here's the thing. You can have that criticism of why didn't the Democrats go after Merrick Garland and ask him to do that. That is a valid criticism, and I'm okay to have that conversation. But what you do not get to do is, as the current Attorney General, try to act like, well, you didn't ask the last guy, so you can't ask me. Like, what game, what elementary school game are we playing here? Like, whoever smelt it, dealt it? Like, get the fuck out of here. You're the Attorney General, so answer the question. Because if somebody asked Merrick Garland, hey, about XYZ, whatever topic, even if it happened in the previous administration, if it's still a leftover in his administration as head of the DOJ, he has to answer for that. That's how it works. And if you're upset about it, you can be upset about it. That's fair. You still have to deal with it. Like, you being upset isn't an argument for not answering the question, basically. And that's what she was trying to use it for. I wish they could be harsher and make her answer questions, like kind of like a judge, like you force the person to answer. Well,
I mean, in 10 months they can, because if she decides not to answer these questions, they can issue a subpoena once the Democrats are back in charge.
Yeah, well, let's hold her in contempt. But I mean, Jim Jordan made a fool of himself because he always does, but he just let her just say and do whatever the fuck she wanted. Basically, he had no control.
Well, and that's another thing that should be pointed out, is that no self-respecting chair of a committee would allow a witness to talk to other committee members regardless of their political affiliation like that. Again, Congress used to have respect for one another, but then again, on the other hand, there ain't nothing Jim Jordan likes more than covering up sexual assault. So I mean, that's that's
his whole
right
thing.
There.
He's
right.
Like,
it's his fucking bag.
He's like, two things I love: covering up and never wearing a suit.
Not wearing a suit.
Like, fuck that. Like, I like to be unencumbered while I'm covering up for sexual assault. Like, yes, Jim, we're well aware. You suck. So, yeah, I mean, I just thought her performance was ridiculous. I mean, it was laughable to have a basically a burn book on all the Democratic lawmakers.
I mean, honestly, not only having it, but needing to like flip through it because you didn't constantly have your shit ready. Like it's it's so real fucking jerk store called. They're running out of you energy going on. With
big time. Also, shout out to her stupid ass for mixing up Jamie Raskin with another lawmaker because she's like, I hear you like to buy a lot of stocks over there, Raskin, and then they cut to the guy, I forget his name, and he's looking at the person next to me. He's like, "Did she just call me Raskin?" Like, I'm not him. I'm a different Jewish guy, but thank you, you fucking.
All y'all look alike,
right? Exactly.
Democratic Congress people.
Like, I don't know who is that AOC up there. I can't tell. So, yeah, I mean, I think it was just generally just a fucking disaster. And we didn't learn anything like definitive from her, but indirectly we did, which is they have spent a lot of time and effort covering for Donald Trump in these files. That is obvious. That's very obvious. And the last thing she wants to do is to let the fucking that horse out of the barn. But here's the question. What are you going to do with all of these files? Are you going to destroy them at the end of at the end of this presidency? Because if you do, you're all going to prison. Okay, like you're all going to jail for destroying evidence. And if you don't, how are you going to stop this evidence from coming out? Like, you could just hope, we'll just stay in power, perpetually. I suppose that's an interesting gamble. I don't think it will work, but how do you propose?
Either that, or they're just raiding the treasury now so that they can buy their non-extradition island later that they can all live on to avoid criminal prosecution. Maybe.
I mean, maybe that's the plan, but the Patriot Act has sort of given the real precedent of we could just go snatch motherfuckers off of other countries' land and just bring them back.
Also, the Trump administration really just throwing precedents out for like, we can just indiscriminately bomb whatever we want, apparently. Boats in the ocean, drug traffickers.
Is that your yacht? I bet there's cocaine on there. Fucking blow it up.
Right. Boom.
Yeah. Sorry. So I'm just curious.
Sorry, we dropped a nuke on this remote island. We were doing a nuclear test. We didn't realize anyone was there.
Yeah, because we're doing those again, guys. Like we're doing it again. It's cool. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Is Peter Thiel there? What time does he arrive? Okay, we'll schedule it. Don't worry about it. But like the idea that they think that there's never going to be a moment where that data is not going to be accessible to Democrats is crazy. But play that card as long as you can, I guess. Because if I'm Democrats, I'm just like, we're just gonna play the long game, baby. And the second you motherfuckers out of power, day one, knock on your door. You're coming with us. Guess how this is going? You're gonna go to prison.
I mean, you better if you're Democrats, because again, like one of the we said it back in fucking 2020, and they didn't heed the warning. Then you really do have to be this time. It has to be like we're holding people accountable who did their crimes, and
you need to be ruthless.
You need to and you need to follow through. So
yeah. There is no argument, and Democratic voters should not allow it to slide either. They should be just as dogged as they are now about where are the prosecutions. And anytime whoever the president is, who's a Democrat, and the members of Congress are like, well, nope, stay on their ass. Stay on their ass. Because, I mean, the reality is, Bondi even said this, which is, if we investigate everybody, this could bring the system down. Please proceed.
Oh boy, congratulations, you've identified one of the underlying problems behind this whole thing.
Yeah.
You're so close. You're so close to getting it.
I mean, here's my thing. Don't threaten me with a good time. If it means ripping the system down and all of these fucking people go to jail, oh no, Bill Clinton, bye. Like, what the fuck? Who cares?
Something tells me other people will rise up to occupy the leadership positions left
There will
behind
always be others.
by the prisoners, right? Here's the other real problem with this is I'm looking at a poll here from Verisight and Strength in Numbers. Unfortunately, we are, of course, like all of our fates are dictated by the dumbest people that live in this country on every 2 to 4 years. Mm-hmm. So low engagement voters in 2024 went for Trump over Harris by 11 points. But now those voters disapprove of how Trump is doing in his second term by 13 points. So a 25-point shift. For low engagement voters, because they're too stupid to read the news and understand like what's going to happen.
And that's a 25-point swing.
Right.
I told you and Andy this offline. There are 20 Republicans in the Senate that are up, right, in the midterms. 9 of the 20 had only won their races by less than 15 points. The other 11 won their districts by a max, like I think the 9 was like 12, I think maybe 12 points and below. They won their last race for Senate. The other 11 won their races by a maximum of 15 points. If we are seeing 25-point swings, I'm not saying they're going to lose every seat. That would be insane to say that. Actually, I wouldn't want that. Like, I don't need a mono party. I think that's actually bad. But on average, with all these special elections, it's been Democrats have won by about 15 points on average. If they even have close to a 15-point on average swing, Republicans are fucked. They are massively fucked senatorially. And in the House, it's already a bloodbath. But in the Senate, they will lose massively if Democrats can even remotely put up the same type of numbers that they're doing right now. Republicans are in a world of trouble. And it's for things like that, where you're seeing even low information voters are like, what the fuck is going on? Right? And it's because at the grocery store, at the pump, everything is more expensive. Yeah, I watch all of these.
But it's not just that. You cannot discount what people are seeing on TV.
That's also true
right now as well. Like again, like you are basically seeing in Minnesota over the past several weeks what amounts to an occupying force run by our government facing off against normal people.
Right.
Yeah. And normies are not used like where normies are used to seeing that shit on the news talking about Israel, Gaza, or other conflicts going on. Like that's where you see those scenes. You don't see them in America, and that's really disconcerting to a lot of civilians. We'll call them as I'm fond of calling non-politically attuned folks. Yeah,
there's plenty of them. But yeah, I think that's going to be their undoing. In that Texas election, Latinos that went for Trump previously in 2024, they swung, or he lost 50% of them to the Democrat.
Yeah, no shit.
50%. Like, what do you think was going to happen? You're grabbing people's fucking cousins and their family members and friends and ripping them out of their homes, and you're treating them like dog shit. Or even if they're not related to these people, just people who look like them, and it is very obvious what they look like. Mm-hmm. And you're saying all this horrendous rhetoric. How long did you think that was going to fucking hold? How long did you think it was going to hold? Oh, surely the Latin people, they won't notice. Yeah, motherfucker, they noticed. Like, they noticed. Of course they noticed. So, fuck
them. Shame on them for not realizing that was going to happen in the first place.
Yeah, they should have known. But at the same time, everybody's got to learn a hard lesson. And guess what? You learned it. Cubans in Florida are fucking pissed because they are lifelong Republicans and they're watching their livelihoods being destroyed. I would have thought.
Wait till they see what happens to the motherland.
Yeah, well, that's also true. Well, speaking of nuclear testing, like, do we care about these people? Why don't we just bomb them? Like, don't do that. Republicans are like, we feel like we should. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Like, so it's just they're losing ground everywhere, and they're having their people retire because they don't want to be around when the bloodbath comes. And I couldn't be happier to watch it happen, to be honest. Good.
Yeah.
So best of luck with all that. All right. Next up, Amazon is trying to recreate the Joker surveillance device. I don't know what this is.
Oh, here's the one part of the Super Bowl I did pay.
Oh, this thing. So, dude, my reaction to this commercial was, I don't care for that at all. Is immediately my response.
Yeah, so Amazon had been partnering with this company called Flock. And what Flock does is they put up cameras in cities and suburbs everywhere that are automated like license plate readers. And Flock is a company that often pairs with law enforcement to basically surveil you, which seems incredibly illegal, but that's a different story for another day. And Amazon, in their infinite wisdom, was like, we sell a lot of cameras that people put on their front door. Like, this would be a fantastic company to partner with.
Hell yeah.
And the way that they decided to announce this to the American public was to put together a Super Bowl commercial that said, hey, if you lose your dog, don't worry. We can tap into your neighbor's Ring cameras and find out where your dog is so that your dog will come back home to you. Isn't that great? And people were like, no. Fuck no. What the fuck are you talking about, Amazon?
Yeah.
And
Nope.
And so they again, this reached like normie levels of permutation to where people were just like, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Fuck right off with that shit. Yeah, I saw that, man. I was like, people were like, oh, isn't this cute? I was like, no, it's not. But by the way, the Ring cameras though, they've been doing this for a while. Not this specific, like they have been using, law enforcement has been using Ring cameras to tap into like get information on people or something happening in a neighborhood. They would just like Amazon would just give law enforcement access to all these people's Ring cameras in the neighborhood without their permission. That should already be a red flag. It's absolutely not okay. And that was years ago. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this at all. Absolutely.
Well, good news. Literally a couple hours before we started recording the show, Amazon announced that they had ended their contract with Flock and are not moving forward.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
With this new feature that they had decided to go with there. So turns out getting real loud works still.
It does. I'm glad.
I'll tell you what. If you have a Ring camera, I'd still probably rip that motherfucker out of the fucking door.
Hell yeah, dude!
At this point,
no, thank you. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I saw that and I was like, I don't know how others are reacting, but I don't like this. And a cute puppy is not enough of a reason for me to be cool with a surveillance state. Thank you very much. Like, no, I'm not trading a puppy for a panopticon. Like, that's not how this is going to work. It's good alliteration, by the way. Next up, in fast corruption and even faster screw ups, the administration is trying to kill emission standards at the source. Go for it.
Yeah. So back in 2009, there was a regulation that was basically created by the EPA. It's called the endangerment finding. And what that did is it was a kind of like a framework so that the EPA could limit greenhouse gas emissions under the Clean Air Act and figure out a way to limit CO2, carbon levels and stuff like that. And so rather than go through the hard work of repealing the Clean Air Act and other things of that nature, the Trump administration today just decided to just rip out the endangerment finding, which kind of is the house of cards that the entire standards are built off of.
Lovely.
Essentially. So, yeah, this is great. The World Health Organization, which the U.S. is no longer a member of, by the way, say that an additional 250,000 people could die as a result of this between 2030 and 2050 due to climate change being exacerbated by greenhouse gas emissions not being cracked down on pretty hard. Of course, the Trump administration is doing this because they say that these are overly restrictive regulations that are in place that make it hard for businesses to do what they have to do. Also, they're somehow saying that removing this will save to $2,400 on average off the cost of a vehicle. Wake me when that happens. I'll be super curious to see to see that amount ending up in my fucking pocketbook. I highly doubt it. Yeah, and according to this, they say more than $1.3 trillion will be saved by cutting these restrictions. Now, are they showing their work on this? Of course not. Like, why the fuck would they?
No.
Nothing to point to except for just, I'm surprised Trump wasn't out there saying that, it'll cut, costs down by, 11,000%, like he likes to fucking talk about.
Just making
prescription drugs.
Right, just making shit up.
Right.
So I don't know if you saw. I'm glad you we didn't have this in this section, but I think it deserves to go there, which is the bridge situation. Have you been paying attention to this?
No, what's going on with
that? This is a fucking doozy. So there is a bridge that is currently being built between Canada and Michigan. Right. This is the.
Oh, I have heard about the Gordie Howe, the Gordie
Howe International Bridge. Right.
Right.
So it's about to open very soon. And Canada owns half of this bridge, and Michigan owns half of it. Right. Canada paid for the entire construction of the bridge. Right. But both areas will make significant money having this thing open. Right. What's great about this is, again, as I mentioned, and I think it bears repeating, Michigan owns half of the bridge, and they paid nothing for it. It's a pretty sweet benefit if you ask me.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty good deal if you can get it.
That's right. So, however, there is also the Ambassador Bridge, which exists between Michigan and Canada, and that's owned by Matthew Maroon, who is a Detroit-based trucking magnate whose family owns and operates the Ambassador Bridge. And he met with Lutnick the other day, and basically he's like, "Look, I mean, we don't know exactly the details of the meeting, but basically, like, hey man, if that bridge opens, we're gonna lose a lot of fucking money, right? We're making hundreds of millions of dollars every year, and these motherfuckers are cutting into our cash." Lutnick clearly tells Trump. Trump comes out that day after the meeting and goes, "We need to stop this other bridge. It's the worst. Canada is screwing America, and we need to get. It won't open until we get some money from this bridge." Keep in mind, as I said twice before, Michigan owns half the bridge, right? And again, paid for none of it. So he comes out and he makes a statement, they're screwing us over. China somehow is going to get involved, and they're going to take over hockey. These are the insane arguments.
I will say I did see a great joke come out the other day because in his like fucking dementia screed that he put out about this, he said that they won't let Canada have the Stanley Cup. To which someone said, Canada doesn't know what that fucking looks like anyway, so why the fuck do they care? A Canadian team hasn't won the Stanley Cup in over 30 years. So.
Oh, that's sad.
Is it? I think it's very funny that that U.S.-based teams are dominating Canada
over Canada. Like, don't they force your kids? Don't you guys have to ice skate to school, like to and fro up there? I mean, it's insane. Caroline Levitt decided to weigh in. Quote, "The fact that Canada will control what crosses the Gordie Howe Bridge and owns the land on both sides is unacceptable to the president. It's also unacceptable that more of this bridge isn't being built with more American-made materials. This is just another example of President Trump putting America's interest first." And this article goes on to say, in a rambling social media post on Monday, Mr. Trump threatened to stop the bridge from its scheduled opening. It is not immediately clear how Mr. Trump would block the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge, which remains under construction. The new crossing, which cost $4.7 billion, was paid for by Canada and is operated jointly by Canada and Michigan under a public-private agreement. The Maroon family had previously called on Mr. Trump to halt the construction of the bridge, which once open would compete with the Ambassador Bridge for more than $300 million in daily cross-border trade. And Mr. Trump on Monday suggested that in a post that the United States might seek to acquire at least one half of the new bridge and take a cut of the tolls. By the way, in his first term, he came out and was like, this is a great project. Canada is our greatest ally, blah, 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 blah. It's like, but then someone was like, hey, Grandpa, if you, between shitting your diaper, this might fuck up money from one of your donors. And he was like,
also, I donated $5 million to your super PAC, or bought $10 million of your Bitcoin. So like, let me fucking get in on this shit. There's only one solution to this, right?
Blow up the
Trump Gordie Howe Bridge opening this summer.
Okay, that's the end of the free portion for this week's episode of Look Forward. Make sure you go to lookforwardshow.com/premium. Sign up for premium content. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the full year.